There are some questions that are just heavy. Why is there so much pain in the world? And then, even more pointedly, why me? These questions can hit you right at the core of your faith, your whole sense of what's fair. Today, we're going to explore some really profound ideas that try to tackle these questions head on. Okay, so let's just start with the biggest one, right? You look around the world, you turn on the news, and you see it everywhere: wars, disasters, and just innocent people, even little kids, getting hurt. It feels like a total contradiction, doesn't it? If God is all merciful and all powerful, how can this stuff be happening? It's the kind of question that can honestly shake you. And then that big worldwide question, it suddenly becomes intensely personal. It's not about them anymore. It's about me. Why am I going through this? I didn't ask for this. I never signed up to be born to live a life full of challenges. It can feel like you've been dropped into the middle of a test you never even agreed to take. And you just have to wonder, is that fair? So, before we can even start looking for answers, the whole idea we're exploring here is that maybe we need to change how we're looking at the problem. The argument is that our entire way of judging what's good or bad might just be, well, incomplete. This slide, this really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got us. We're living life in the moment, seeing everything one frame at a time. Our entire judgment call is based on what we see and feel right now. But on the other side, you have this divine perspective, one that sees the entire movie, from the opening credits to the final scene, and everything happening behind the scenes that we have no clue about.
And this is such a brilliant way to picture it. Imagine you walk by and see a bulldozer tearing down a building. All you see is rubble and dust, and you think, what a disaster, what a waste. But what you don't see is the blueprint for the incredible skyscraper that's going to be built right there. Suddenly, that demolition isn't destruction anymore, is it? It's the necessary first step. The action is the same, but the perspective, it changes everything. This concept from the Quran is just so central to this whole conversation, and honestly, it's a tough one to swallow. It's this idea that our feelings, whether we love something or hate it, might not be the best judge of its true value, that there could be some hidden long-term good in something that feels awful right now, and a hidden danger in something that feels great. Okay, so how does this actually apply to all the suffering and injustice we see? Well, there's this incredible story in the Quran about the prophet Moses, or Musa, and his journey with a wise man named Khidr, who was given a special window into that hidden reality we were just talking about. So on this journey, Khidr does three things that, from the outside, look completely wrong. I mean, just awful. First, he goes and damages a boat that belongs to some poor fisherman. Then, he does the unthinkable. He kills a young boy. And finally, he stops to rebuild a wall in a town where the people were so rude, they wouldn't even give them food or water. Moses is understandably horrified by all of this. But later, Khidr explains the hidden wisdom. The damaged boat? It was saved from being seized by a tyrant. The boy's death? It was a mercy that saved his wonderful parents from a terrible future and saved him too. And that wall? It was protecting a hidden treasure for two young orphans. Every single act that looked like pure evil was actually a hidden mercy. So what are we supposed to take away from a story like that? Well, it gives us a few ways to think about suffering. First, it makes a clear line between the evil that we humans do, like wars and oppression, that's on us, and the things that seem to come from God. In those cases, something that looks like a tragedy could actually be a merciful move to a much better life. Or a hardship could be a test to make us stronger, to purify us. And sometimes what looks like a disaster is actually protecting us from something way, way worse that we just can't see. Okay, but let's be real. Even if we can kind of wrap our heads around the big picture stuff, what about when the suffering is our own? When it's my test? Why am I being put through a trial that I definitely, 100%, did not sign up for? Let's get into that really personal feeling. So there are two main ways of thinking about this. The first one is pretty straightforward. God gave us the gift of life and everything in it. So as the creator, he has the right to test his creation, but always within the limits of what that person can handle. The second answer, though, wow, it's way more mind-bending. It suggests that actually we did choose this, that our souls, in some other reality before this one, willingly signed up for this test. And that idea brings us to this huge concept that basically reframes the entire human story. It's the idea of a promise, a covenant made before time began, that sealed our purpose here. It's called the trust. The Quran talks about how this massive, weighty trust was offered to all of creation. We're talking the heavens, the earth, the mountains, and they all shrank back. They were afraid of how heavy this responsibility was. But then, humanity, the human being, stepped forward and said, I'll do it.
So what on earth is this trust? Well, it's the choice. The choice to come into this world. A world full of challenges, temptations, and free will, all for the sake of getting to know God and getting close to Him in a way that no other creation possibly could. The prize was this incredible closeness. But the price?
And this idea is tied to another amazing scene described in the Quran, a moment when God gathered every single human soul before any of us were born and asked us one single defining question, Am I not your Lord? And every single soul all at once answered, Yes, we bear witness. According to this view, that was the moment we recognized our Creator and accepted the path that we're now on.
I mean, just think about what that means. The implication is, it's staggering. If you look at it from this perspective, this life isn't some unfair surprise exam you were forced into. It's the very arena you chose. It's the playing field where you get to fulfill a deep promise your soul already made.
So we're left with this really powerful final thought. You, right now, probably don't remember making that choice. I don't. But the idea is that your soul does remember. Your very existence, that deep feeling inside you that's searching for meaning and purpose, that's the evidence. And if that's true, the question completely changes. It's no longer why me. It becomes, now that I'm here, how am I going to honor the incredible trust that my soul accepted?